BSL.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's time after an entire season for the third place and grand finals match for BSL Season 7. I'm Rapid. I'm here with Nyoken, and of course, all of you wonderful people, and I am so excited. How do you feel, Nyoken?
Yeah, I'm excited to see how far Jaeyun can go. Can he get third place? And I'm also, usually I don't really like ZVZ, but when you have Eon Zerg versus True Touch, I'm actually really excited for this.
Yeah, so our grand finals might be 25 minutes, but it'll be short and sweet. It's quality, not quantity, guys. It's basically the two best Zerg players in the non-Korean world. I don't even think that's wrong to say. Like, maybe there are a few others. And in our third and fourth place match, Jaeyun is actually a fantastic player who didn't actually expect to get to the top four, and he made it. He really impressed a lot of people, and now he's playing for the third and fourth place match against probably what I would say a lot of people think is the favorite of the tournament in Bonyth. So, yeah, it feels weird to have Bonyth in the third, fourth place match.
Yeah, but we've got two very deadly players in the finals. It's not really a shock to me that True Touch made it again. Eon Zerg, not really a shock. All three of those could be in the finals. But our first series is going to be that ZVP, Jaeyun versus Bonyth.
So how do you call Jaeyun versus Bonyth? Because I know there's a poll both on Twitter and on Team Liquid voting for who you think is going to win the finals and the third, fourth place match. And I voted for Jaeyun because, of course, I've got my North American pride on the line here. But I think it might be an uphill battle.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I'm rooting for Jaeyun, of course, but I think it's got to favor Bonyth. If I was to give a score, I think 3-1 or 3-2. But last week we had Eon Zerg beat Bonyth with aggressive play. Jaeyun watched those games and he's been more aggressive because he's been playing ZVZ. So maybe if he can mix in his patented drone man with some aggressive play, maybe he can turn it around, maybe win 3-2 himself. I don't know, but I think 3-1 for Bonyth or 3-2 for Bonyth.
Yeah, I would say probably 3-1 for Bonyth is exciting because it means that Jaeyun takes a game, and I think that Jaeyun really showing off what he's got. This is his last chance. He's gonna bring it all. So I'm really hoping that we have a really good series. This is a best of 5 for the third and fourth place match, and if I'm not mistaken, the difference between third and fourth place as far as prize pool is it's like $100, right? Yeah, it's or 50 bucks. It's 150 for third place, $100 for fourth place. So definitely $50 on the line playing Brood War. The current era feels pretty good. So our first map is Sylphid. Without further ado, I think I am ready to get this third, fourth place match underway. Are you, Nyoken?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it. Let's get into it. Game number 1 of our best of 5 third, fourth place match on Neo Sylphid. All right, here we are on the map Neo Sylphid in the 12 o'clock location at the top of the map in the white, playing from North America, our Zerg player, Jaeyun.
In the bottom left, we've got the pink Protoss. It is Bonyth. Yeah, so you're just talking to me about rallying a Zealot across the map in Rain versus Socktree, and the Zealot just dealing crippling amounts of damage. You think we're going to see that again? I mean, it is Bonyth, but we saw a lot of 2 gates, actually. Yeah. So I'm curious if we're going to see, one base play that have been 2 gates or 1 base tech. Do you think we're going to see more 2-gate action in base play?
I really love 2-gate, especially in the first game of a series, because it really gives you a chance to test the player you're up against. It lets you say, look, can you hold this off? And the answer is no, you start off with a win. If the answer is yes, you're like, okay, well, now I know,
Yeah, it's true, because a lot of Koreans used to do that to me when I would play on West. Like, they would just be like, oh, well, let's see if he can stop a 4-pull, because if he can't, well, why are we playing? And I would just lose a lot. I remember there was a BlizzCon where Skew ended up going against Zelos, and Zelos just 8-raxed him the first game, ended up winning because Skew went for a 14 CC. And
Yeah.
then the next game, he 8-racks them again, and it was versus another 14cc. So we had Skew get eliminated within like literally 5 minutes at BlizzCon. So yeah, I mean, there's no point to play a 20-minute game, get in the wheelhouse of Jaeyun if you can just end it in 5 minutes.
Well, speaking of ending it in 5 minutes, let's just talk about what's going on here, because with an in-base pylon, you kind of knew what was coming. It's that 2-gate, and this isn't just a 2-gate, it's Bonyth 2-gate with Bonyth Zealots doing Bonyth things, so hold on.
Yeah, now luckily for Jaeyun, he got a first scout off, so he sees that this is an in-base 2-gate. He knows exactly what's going on, so this is going to be the real test for Jaeyun. If you scout the 2-gate, you see it coming, and you still can't stop it, we're in big time trouble in this series. But so far, I think his opener is about as good as you can get. We got Overpool. He didn't build any extra drones. We're just continuing to build Lings. So this is about as good as Jaeyun could hope for.
Yeah. Now, obviously, this is going to hurt both players' economies, because, the Zerg player wants to build drones, the Protoss player wants to get up a Nexus. But no, it's not a bad economy, this game. It's about how much damage you can do. So Jaeyun, with that knowledge, did have a delayed hatchery. It was blocked by the probe a little bit, but he got it up. And if he can get a sunken up in time and keep pumping Zerglings, it actually looks pretty okay.
Yeah, and I love how Bonyth is bouncing his probes right now. You can see he was cutting at 21, but it was a purposeful cut, because that allows you to get both Zealots out as soon as these next two complete. So this is perfect execution so far. Oh, third hatch. Okay, I guess I see the minerals for Jaeyun. I was worried that potentially he might not be able to afford Sunkens, but he does have enough money to get a Sunken down immediately, but there's no drone in position. This might be a mistake, but he does have a flank of Lings set up.
I mean, that's kind of a cool idea. It also narrows the choke point, which might make it easier to hold. I'm assuming that's tight against the wall there, but it's just kind of a really cool idea. You don't want to put up like an Evo chamber to block that or something like that, because you really do need a Sunken. And honestly, where's this drone? Is he just going to try to hold it with Lings, Nyoken?
Yeah, this is 16 Lings versus 5 Zealots and a probe, and the probe does a surprising amount of damage. I don't know what the magic number is for how many Lings you need, but I think he might actually need more than this. This is a good surround, though.
Yeah, he's not actually targeting the probe, and it does get a couple of hits off, but taking out a Zealot already? I mean, this is remarkably well played by Jaeyun.
Oh, not this angle. This is not the angle that you want. Half of his Lings are split up.
Okay, come on, Jaeyun. Right when I say it's remarkably well played, you don't do it. Look at the probe also. He's getting multiple hits off on these Zerglings to make them two-shottable. And now, after having an overwhelming Zergling advantage, the tides of battle have turned. And suddenly we have 2 hatcheries versus 6 Zealots. And one of those doesn't fight back.
We had so many Lings.
Where did they go?
They just evaporated. And he lost 1 Zealot. That's it. This is 6 Zealots versus, oh my, he can just focus down the pool.
This feels like watching Rain versus Saxry all over again. If you guys caught that game, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, go check it out, and you'll get some feelings of deja vu. He's literally about to kill the spawning pool, but before he does that, he's going to kill everything else here. This game is not going to go on for much longer. What a monster. Bonyth, kind of answering that question we asked at the beginning of the game. Can you hold on to against the 2-gate? The answer, I think, is a resounding no. 5 minutes, game 1.
I really liked the first fight because he found that Zealot very easily, got a kill, and then he actually microed this 1 Ling in the back to pull the other 4 away. So that was a really good engagement, but once we got split, like, those Zealots traded so incredibly well, and I actually don't mind Jaeyun going for that 3rd hatch, because if we think back to what he did versus Bonyth, didn't he play Bonyth? I think he did play Bonyth in something, and he did go for a Sunken, and it didn't work out. So I think going for the Lings to see how that would have turned out is not a bad choice, but clearly Lings is not going to work versus Bonyth.
Yeah, so what you're referencing is the winner's match from Group C of this season, where Bonyth and Jaeyun actually were in the same group, and they both actually managed to advance, eliminating Crossy and Ghost Who Dark. So that was a really cool group because we didn't know who was going to get out in 2nd place. Bonyth crushed it. He didn't lose a single game, and he hasn't lost a single game until being defeated by Eon Zerg and dropping down here. in that series, almost the exact same thing happened. Not quite as drastically devastating, but he did 2-0 Jaeyun in that winner's match. And I think a lot of people looked at that and were like, totally expectable, right? Well, this time around, it looks like Bonyth is maybe a little bit upset to be down here in the third, fourth place match. So he is certainly looking to bring the pain to Jaeyun and anybody like me who may have voted for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you get a free kill on the Zealot, and then he still just doesn't lose anything after it. I just don't get it. Like, it's just, he always has the perfect positioning. It's crazy. And I just don't know what you do, because now Jaeyun's done 2 different counters to it, and neither of them worked. And now we're on Gladiator, which I think is a good Zerg map, but if I was Bonyth, I would just do the same thing again, 2-gate. And it doesn't matter what map you're on when you 2-gate, you just send the Zealots.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, although it does look pretty broken. So I think it's probably going to be a similar thing. And you know, Jaeyun has picked Gladiator as the second map, so I can imagine that's just because it is, you know, quite a bit bigger, and you don't have to worry about being rushed quite as easily. Although I will say, close spawns are not as far away as some other 4-player maps. So let's see if he can hold on against 2-gate again, or if maybe Bonyth is going to be merciful this time around. Let's get into game number 2. It is on Gladiator, and Bonyth is already up 1-0. So I'm pulling for my North American pal Jaeyun, but let's see if actual Dr. Scientist Jaeyun can pick up a win. All right, here we go. In the upper left-hand corner, in the white as Zerg. From North America, this is Jaeyun.
And in the top right, we got the Polish Protoss. It is Bonyth, and this is good spawns for Bonyth if he's going to go 2-gate, because Gladiator, it's decently close spawns right here. It's not like cross map, where he's going to have to travel a mile. So if Bonyth wants to go for another in-base 2-gate, it could work out for him. Also, Gladiator, you can just 2-gate the front. I don't think we've seen Bonyth 2-gate the front. I've seen it a couple times from pros. They do it on maps like multiple. There we go. We're going to have an in-base play again.
Yeah, I think, honestly, this is both Bonyth thinking very intelligently about the series, but also kind of skill checking Jaeyun and maybe getting a little pent up frustration out, because he is definitely going for it. He's not trying to respect his opponent. He is just saying, look, the ball is in your court. Can you hold on? And if the answer is no, then we are going to have about a 15-minute best of 5 here.
Yes, so we do have a 10-gate. It's not going to be 9-9. Last game, I think, was also a 10-gate. We have to wait and see. Is there going to be a second gate? I imagine that based on last game, it's probably going to be a 12-gate. And this style is so funny to me that it's coming back, because if I think back to the really old days where, like, we're talking like Gur was playing, like, you would see 2-gate every single time. The only mix-up would be, like, is it proxied or not? And then over time, they eventually developed how to 2-gate or 1-gate into an expansion. And we're just seeing the exact same thing. This is literally a build from like 2001. And we're playing it in 2019. Like, it's crazy to me.
Dude, I just watched Bisu play in a tournament last night, the BJ Destruction Battle, and I'm just like, is this the current era? It's just like so crazy. So I can't get enough of it. I love this resurgence of Brood War. It's only going to keep getting better, and probably so is Bonyth. Now, obviously, Jaeyun is also improving quite a bit. He's playing ZVZs now and really changed and learned a lot of his other matchups. He's made it farther in BSL than he has ever before in any tournament, and I'm just so excited to see if he can hold on here, because he should have a pretty good idea what's coming once again.
Yeah, he almost gets this probe. Oh, it sneaks by.
Wow.
And you can see the effects of just playing against Bonyth, because usually when you overpool, you're going for like 4 lanes, but Jaeyun made sure to not skip any lanes. He's gotten 6. Now he's even banking Larva. I think he wants to evaluate what's going on before he decides. Now he sees the Zealots, and look, instant morph of Lings. So this is perfect reaction from Jaeyun. Now it again comes down control. This time, there's no probe mixed in. So it's just pure Zealots. They're not going to get in that pot shot from the probe, which allows the Zealots to two-shot. So this time, Jaeyun's in a better position. He doesn't have the third hatch just yet, but he's in position to put it down. And one thing about Gladiator is he does have high ground advantage. So he will see what angle is best to come from.
Now, I think we can all agree that the game started out pretty well for Jaeyun until he threw away a bunch of lings. Look at the stutter step here from Bonyth's Zealots. Holy hell. They're coated in butter, slipping around, but eventually they will go down, and that's pretty good for Jaeyun to pick off the first 3 Zealots. Now, probably Bonyth is going to have to bank up a bunch more Zealots, which it looks like what he's doing, or just pull back completely. And it's safe to say Jaeyun's kind of held off the initial part of this rush.
Yes, so he held it off for now, but this is just nonstop Zealots from Bonyth. And unlike last game, I don't know if we got to see the actual transition, but so far he has actually gotten gas. So this is going to be a tech follow-up. We saw versus Eon Zerg, he went into Reaver, but Jaeyun is very all in because we have 5 drones at the main and we already have a Hydrogen. I don't even think he can support this.
I mean, that's going to be optimistic. He's certainly going to have to kill off these 4 Zealots before we answer any other questions. He's bringing out a few drones and loses one of them immediately. These drones are like his lifeblood. He can't support this as is. How's he going to do it with 2 less drones? The Zealots are on the ramp. Oh my God. It's a perfect choke point for Bonyth to defend here. And I mean, this is not a lot of lings compared to the tiny nooks and crannies that these Zealots can get into. He's already targeting down the lings perfectly, losing 1 Zealot. The lings taking out another one. Zealots fighting valiantly. Drone getting in there. Can he target it down? He does get the drone at the last second. This is 6 drones left, Nyoken.
Yeah, we have 6 drones. There's 0 at the natural. Normally, if you were Protoss looking at this while going 1 base, you're thinking, well, I got to be a little bit worried because I already got a Hydrogen. But seeing 6 drones, you don't even care anymore. This Zealot trying to find another drone kill doesn't get it. But we're going to have speed. Oh, no, we're not. Straight into support bay or robotics on 1 base. That means we're going to have Reavers coming out pretty soon. He's now started to build a Dragoon. He may actually get this Overlord. And we cannot afford to spend 100 minerals on an extra Overlord. We need all of our resources to go into either a bust or drones. He is going to save it. But Jaeyun's just going to go for it because he's building a couple Hydras. But he's so broke.
Yeah, he's broke as a joke. What is this guy gonna do? As soon as you see 3 drones, you don't have to basically do anything on your side. I like that Bonyth is still continuing to play like reasonably aggressively, just so that he doesn't die to anything silly. But he knows that he is just in an incredible position, and Reavers are gonna be basically anything that Jaeyun can bring at him.
Yeah, Reaver gonna shut down literally everything Zerg has at this point in the game. No lair. There's definitely no burrow to try and snipe a shuttle as it's moving across the middle of the map. I mean, we may not even get to the Reaver because this is 7 Zealots, 1 Goon versus like 8 Lings and 2 Hydras. This army can just flat out win versus the Zerg at this point. He's scrambling to get up a creep colony, but I don't even think that's going to complete in time. And even if it does, it's just 1 colony.
Yeah, you can just focus that down, and especially when a Reaver comes out, I mean, that's just not going to exist anymore. So it's about halfway done morphing. Keep in mind, this is it loses 100 HP when it finishes morphing, so it's just going to be so squishy. Now with a Dragoon as well that helps fend off the Zerglings, the Sunken does complete, but almost immediately it's taken out by those Zealots in the front. The Hydras are doing okay, but they're just not enough here. Jaeyun taps out. Bonyth will take game number 2.
Yeah, this is a quick 2-0 lead, and I mean, Bonyth just makes it look easy. Like I said, this is a build from way long ago, and Jaeyun is struggling. Really, this 3 hatch, I like the idea, but it's just flat out not working. We definitely got to get like a Sunken mixed in with it. I think that this time we definitely need to get speed because he shut down the Zealots hard, but then they just waltzed in, and we had a Hydrogen that did nothing. We still had a decent amount of lings, but we needed the speed, the better angle to engage those Zealots. But regardless, Bonyth is just, he's something else, man. I don't know how he does it. He just walks to your base and you lose.
I mean, it certainly looks like this. This is like the, steps to winning as Bonyth. It's like, well, you make 2 gateways, build Zealots, question mark, and then profit at the end. And I'm just like, well, I don't know what those question marks are, but it seems to be the secret sauce for Bonyth here. And I think we all knew that Bonyth was going to be the favorite in this matchup, but maybe not just how much of a favorite he was going to be. So, I mean, if we were in an offline situation here in Korea, we would absolutely take a commercial break right now, come back with fan interviews, play a different video clip that we've got. We're busting out all of the things we can do to make this show any longer, because it is just kind of surprising how quickly Bonyth can, even when he loses those first few zealots, come back and still deal crippling damage. Whew.
Yeah, you have to remember he lost the first 3, and it was good trade for Jaeyun, and he just sent 4 more in, and it just did crippling amounts of damage. I don't know what she can do versus him.
Well, let's get into our third and potentially final game. It is Ground Zero. And I think that's obviously a gigantic map. If Jaeyun wants to play a little bit more of a defensive style, maybe this is a map that will allow him to. But first, he has to figure out a way to kill Zealots, which is probably on a lot of players' minds here. First of all, Saxry. Second of all, Jaeyun, and maybe some other Zerg players out there too. So, well, I'm ready to get into it. Are you, Jay? I almost called you Nyoken.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, then let's do it. Game number 3 on Ground Zero. All right, here we go. In the upper left-hand corner, in the white, playing Zerg from North America, it's Jaeyun.
In the bottom right, he's 1 game away from just securing 3rd place with a 3-0. It is Bonyth. So I guess you would just imagine we're going to see a 2-gate again. There's really no reason to switch it up. I hope that we do see like a forge expand or just forward gate expand or something, because I'd like to see Jaeyun get to the mid game, see how he can fare versus Bonyth in straight macro game. But like I said, there's no reason to not do this. Here it goes.
Yeah.
This is going to be an in base because the probe is so late.
Yeah, I mean, you could already kind of figure this out. I could close my eyes and cast this Nyoken. You ready for this? Wow,
Yeah,
he built a gate. Oh my god, he's building Zealots. Now Jaeyun knows exactly what's coming for him. The Zealots are moving across the map. The Zerglings might kill any Zealots, but it just doesn't matter because somehow Jaeyun spontaneously combusts into a ball of flame and ash. And then Bonyth wins the game. That's pretty much what's happened both of the previous games. And look, man, I want something different to happen. I voted for Jaeyun in the Team Liquid poll, which really shows you how convicted I am, because that's the only thing that matters. And now is where it's all on the line. Come on, Jaeyun. This is like, you ever see that meme where it's like, the little stick figure guy drawn and there's like something on the ground, like a dog or whatever, and he just pokes it and he's like, come on, do something. I kind of want that from Jaeyun. Like, either play a macro game, throw down 8 Sunkens just so you can survive something.
Well, we've got a mix-up because this is not an overpool this time. It's an 11 hatch, not a 12 hatch, and he's cutting drones to get down a faster spawning pool. And I think this is the best opener you can go versus a 2-gate. It's going to be a very fast hatchery. You're definitely going to have Sunkens in time. I don't think you're going to have to build as many lings to defend the Zealots initially, and you're going to have access to more larvae. So far, so good for Jaeyun. He's not able to get off a first scout with his overlord or with his initial drone, but I think at this point he's probably in the same mindset we are. This guy's 2-gating me, so what's the blind counter to 2-gate? And I think a 10 hatch or 11 hatch is pretty much the best counter you could go for.
Yeah, game number 1, he actually had his hatchery delayed, and then he threw down the 3rd hatchery, which I'm still, throwing down some question marks in my mind about that too. Game number 2, he actually did get the Sunken up, but by then it was a little bit too late, and he still lost a bunch of drones, so Sunkens hurt even more. Now, game number 3, he somewhat tragically scouts incorrectly twice, and so he will not scout Bonyth directly, but I think he knows what's coming.
Yeah, and this is what I was waiting to see is, are we going to get the 3rd hatch or the gas? I personally think that gas is the way to play versus an incoming 2-gate, and that's what we see this time. It's about a 240 gas, so this is going to definitely be fast there. And now, if Bonyth was going for a 2-gate, which we see, now he can't just go straight Reaver. He has to respect potential Spire, which means he's forced into Stargate. and then Jaeyun can respond appropriately. But here come those first few Zealots, and thankfully, we do have the Sunken. It is going to be in time, and this should get shut down very easily. And I think he should actually split off maybe like 2 Lings and try and go for a potential Ling run buy.
Yeah, I think a counterattack would be super good, even if you're right, it's just a couple. Now, one thing I would say is he has less Lings this time, because obviously he cut a little to get that earlier hatchery, earlier Sunken, but the Sunken's huge. He still has more Lings on the way. And, he killed off the probe earlier, so he doesn't have to worry about any of these Lings getting 2-shot.
So far, no lair. He does get speed, which I like in the early game. And Bonyth has to be a bit weary with these Zealots. I like that he's turning around, and he doesn't necessarily have to turn around and go straight to his base, because he's in the darkness right now. He can just position them pretty much anywhere on the map, and then Jaeyun has to be worried about potential counterattack. So I like that he turned around, because speed's going to be kicking in pretty soon. What does Jaeyun want to do with his resources, though? He's banking up quite a bit. We don't see a third hatch anywhere. He's not mining gas. Meanwhile, Bonyth did tech this game, and look, just as I said, you got to respect potential first fire. So we have Stargate coming in, and also Citadel.
Yeah, I agree. You got to go Stargate, but I think one of the problems is that when you send everything back home, you've got only Zealots, so that means you're pretty good against everything on the ground, especially if you just want to play one base. And the other strategy that I think Bonyth is more well known for is this one base Reaver, but this is actually Corsair DT, because obviously you need the Stargate. So I'm actually really excited to see this, because while you might say, Jaeyun's in a good position because he held off against the Zealots, I think he's also in a good position because Bonyth still hasn't expanded.
Yeah, there's a reason that this whole... I was waiting. I think this is actually Ser Mass Speed Zealot, because when Zerg is having to build so many Lings in the early game, their econ is shot, right? And now, if they're going to build Hydras, it's going to be a low amount of Hydras at this point in the game. So if you can just pound on the Zerg with mass Zealots, meanwhile supply block them, all of a sudden, these Zealots just start running rampant, maybe not in the first attack, but the follow-up attack, and we've got 3 gate. So Bonyth's going to be able to definitely hit a secondary timing pretty quickly, and it's going to be very strong. So I'm loving this play from Bonyth.
I will say this does seem somewhat uncharacteristic from Bonyth. The things you associate Bonyth with are Reaver drops, are like more standard play, and this is all like very hyper aggressive. And I think there's no reason not to play this way, just that I'm not used to seeing this from him specifically.
Yeah, honestly, if you were to blank out the names right here, and I saw this build in particular, there's only one name that comes to mind, and I'm thinking this is Ghost to Dark. But so this is like a very Ghost to Dark-esque build. But surprisingly, this build that Jaeyun's going for is equally weird. It's 2 base 4 hatch with a delayed lair. So he's gonna have a lot of units. But behind this, I am a little surprised that Bonyth didn't, I guess, all in with this, because he is putting down a Nexus. But this Ling gets in at a crucial timing and sees that there's no defense. That means Zealots are out on the map.
Is he gonna get? Oh wow, he almost got a probe with that. That one probe survives with like 20 HP. So you're right. That's crucial information. Brilliant scout there by Jaeyun, and he should actually be okay about this. He has a bunch of Hydras. Obviously, Hydra's not super mobile, so you're gonna have to keep track of your overlords and make sure that they are protected. But against all these Zealots, he's got a pretty good Sim City. He's just got to get back to it. A little bit far out of the map, and the Zealots are actually going to get on top of the Hydras in the front. Oh my god, that's exactly what you don't want. Targeting down these overlords, 1's falling, 2's falling, the Zealots killing everything on the ground because the Hydras can't really be micro. The SimCity working against them. Now you're forced to pull drones. Everything's dying here to the Zealots, the Sunken. Really the only thing keeping Jaeyun alive.
Yeah, and look at this. This is exactly what I said. We're supply blocked now, 23 out of 12. Jaeyun is starved for minerals, so he can't even build more overlords at this point. These Sairs killed like 2 or 3 overlords, 5 overlords actually. Holy moly. And this is 3 gate Protoss, so he's going to have a secondary attack pretty soon. We see 1 DT, 2 Templar mixed in, and really, Jaeyun had no business being that far out in front of his base, and he got punished really hard.
Dude, if his Hydras had been sandwiched in that, like, the warm, yogurty embrace of that Sim City, packed up around the outside of the Sunken colony, Lings in front, no way you break that like that. Also, you save all your overlords. This time around, we're gonna have to throw down a Spire just to desperately try to get Scourge out, because something has to deal with these 2 Corsairs. They're still getting shots off on these overlords.
Yeah, Bonyth is just in a phenomenal position. He's got great probe saturation at his main, great probe saturation at his natural. This is one of the things that I always notice with Bonyth is he for sure is going to have a good econ at any state in the game, and he didn't get punished at any point where he wasn't overly greedy. Meanwhile, Jaeyun, sure, he's got 2-base, he's got decent saturation, he's got Spire, he's got Lair, but Protoss 2-base versus 2-base Zerg, Protoss is feeling great. As long as there's no 3rd or 4th base, Protoss is fine with this position. And I think we're just going to see a big flood of gateways in the next couple minutes. And then really, what does Jaeyun have to stop it?
Yeah, also, how do you even take a 3rd base? There's this DT out here. Look at that. It just sniped the drone.
And instant reaction with the Sair. He knows the Hydras move out. What does he do? He pokes in, doesn't kill an Overlord, but it's just annoying. He also spots the drone every time it moves out with these Sairs. So the DT is going to come back, try and find a kill.
Oh, I thought he was. Oh, okay. So he pulled back the drone so that it would be protected by this Overlord. And now he is actually going to get the hatch up. I think actually if you built 2 DTs, then you could like kill, it deals damage faster than the hatch builds. So maybe you need 3 for that. I don't know. Either way, the hatch will finally come up here in just a second. But man, Jaeyun is hurting.
Yeah, he's in deep trouble. This is doubling the supply for Bonyth. If we take a look at the Forge, it's about 80% done. So we've got a timing coming in within maybe like the next 30 seconds or so. And Jaeyun right now, he's got Scourge to shut down the Corsairs, but we need actual ground army. We have 6 Hydras, about 10 more back at his natural versus what looks to be about 12 Zealots at the main. And these Templar have been banking energy the whole time. They have double Storm available.
Oof. Well, let's think about the units that Jaeyun has that do well against Storm. I don't know, man. It seems like... Imagine if you could have a race with an ability that just kind of killed everything. I mean, it seems good to me. Although we are tech switching into Carapace Mutas, which might actually work pretty well. I mean, the Carapace doesn't affect their ability to deal with Storm, but they might snipe the High Templar.
Yeah, but Bonyth, he's just building up his Corsair count. It's at 6 now, soon to be 7. He's going to have +1 weapon on his air also. And usually when you're building Corsairs with +1 weapon, you're building only like 5. Usually if you're going to build Massacres with +0s when you go to +7 or go to 7. So if you have 7 Sairs with +1, these Overlords are going to get massacred. They're going to get just murdered so quickly. If the Hydras are not focusing down these Sairs, sure, maybe Jaeyun won't die on this attack, but he's going to have to rebuild so many Overlords. But here we go. Bonyth moving out. Tons of Zealots, man. This is so many Zealots, and those Templar just trailing behind. Oh my god, these Mutas, they don't have armor.
Oh, they don't. Yeah, it's about halfway done right now. And against Corsairs, they are not going to do anything. Even though he's avoiding the splash damage by having the Mutas split, they just can't do it on... it's 5 Corsairs. They've got +1. Oh, disgusting amount of damage. Look at that Storm. Perfectly placed. There's still a few more Hydras on the ground, but we got 3 more Storms waiting.
Yeah, 3 more Storms available. Don't even need it. There's equal amounts of Zealots as there are Hydras, and this is probably just going to be, oh, perfect Storm in the back. The Hydras run into it. Now, will Bonyth be able to break through? I think he will. There's so many Storms. He's got more Storms available. Perfect Storm even on the Larva and some drones.
Finally, one of the Storms looks like it kind of misses towards the back. There are a few Hydras holding on, but, I mean, targeting down the Sunken. Oh, another Storm kills all the Hydras. Never mind. This is just completely tragic. Bonyth saying, give me that $150. He is coming for the 3rd place, and nobody is going to stop him.
Yeah, somehow these 2 Zealots make it into the main, and that's going to draw units out of position. If Bonyth was streaming across the map, there would be no defense at the natural anymore, no defense at the 3rd base. Look at the supply. We're tripling the supply. This is going to be Bonyth just walking over Jaeyun any minute now.
Tripling. Wow, why'd you have to say it like that? That's just, ugh, so disgusting. Yeah. Finally, he cleans it up in the
DT,
main.
He's back.
Okay, he saw it with the glitch on the ground, but no, he didn't actually. Never mind. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's painful, man. So painful. And he just leaves.
Yeah. Wow. Well, what do you say about that? GG. Congratulations to Bonyth for his dominant victory there in the 3rd, 4th place match, claiming 3rd place in BSL Season 7 and $150 in the end.
Yeah, just complete domination. That went not as I expected. I thought for sure we might get a good mid-game game from Jaeyun, but Bonyth just had other ideas. Don't want to get Jaeyun in his comfort zone. Just end this guy before he gets anything going, and that was fantastic.
What an incredible show of force. I mean, I'm still a little bit surprised that Eon Zerg was able to 3-1 Bonyth in the semifinals. I definitely expected Bonyth to go on, not because Eon Zerg's bad or anything, but because, you know, usually even if Bonyth loses, it's a super close series, but Eon Zerg really kind of had his number there. So Bonyth unceremoniously gets knocked down to the third, fourth place match, and can't feel too good about that. So he decides to take his frustration out on a poor young American boy named Jaeyun, and didn't look too good. So congratulations, Bonyth takes $150 in third place. Jaeyun claims his highest finish in BSL ever at fourth place and will claim $100 with that. And that will send us off to a quick commercial break before we get into the best of 7 ZVZ Grand Finals between the BSL5 champion Eon Zerg, the BSL6 champion True Touch, a ZVZ between the two best non-Korean Zerg players in the world. And I just cannot wait to get into that. So let's hurry up and get to it. We will actually have an interview. Okay. Sorry, I didn't see them pop into our call, but before we get to our commercial break, we have an interview with our third and fourth place players. And guys, I'm just saying, if Jaeyun is crying, don't make fun of him. But it's actually going to be really fun to hear what they had to say, because, I mean, Jaeyun did eventually wind up holding off the 2-gate, right?
Yeah, but he was in a good position until the Hydras moved out of position, and then it was just downhill from there. Other than that, I like the initial opener.
Yeah, I guess also maps have a lot to do with that, because the first one looked a little bit smaller. But we actually do have Bonyth and Jaeyun with us now on the phone. Well, I guess on the call. We don't use phones anymore. So welcome, Bonyth, Jaeyun. Let me start by saying congratulations, Bonyth, for that victory. What was your strategy going into that? Was this just 2-gate until it stops working?
Yeah, I just felt like, okay, I'm gonna 2-gate you the first game and see how it goes. If it goes well, then I'm just gonna continue that.
So Jaeyun, what's it like to get 2-gated by Bonyth?
I mean, I kind of expect. I mean, obviously, I knew he was gonna go like gate, either gate expand or 2-gate. And yeah, I mean, he played really well. I mean, obviously, the games were pretty pathetic, but I don't want to sit here and say, I messed up and I played bad. I think Bonyth just played really well. Like, if that was any other Protoss, I think I would have done a lot better. I think I don't know. It's like there's very small nuances that Bonyth does, and I was just like thinking about it afterwards that like he like attacks you when you don't think he's gonna attack you, but he's also going to pull back if he can't do it. So it's like he's not like playing like a stupid Protoss. He's like walking in to see, oh, is there an opening here? Can I capitalize on it, right? And so, there's nothing wrong that I did. I mean, I made mistakes, but I'm saying it's because Bonyth forced those mistakes.
Yeah. So in the third game, you actually wound up holding off the 2-gate opener. So did you feel like you were in an okay position? What was your thoughts after that?
I think I was in a good position actually. I don't know. I don't know why. Like I had my Ling going to space, but I didn't see the 3 gates. I assumed it was a 2-gate Forge expand, and then so I didn't see his Zealots coming out. So I think that's just a mechanical error on my part. Like if I saw that, then I just holds, because I would just go back to my sunken colony and then just defend there. But again, again, Bonyth forced my Hydras to come out with his like Corsairs. That was very intentional from him. So again, he just played really well. So.
Well, I just want to have one more question here for Jaeyun. This is you finished top 4. You could win $100 in BSL. This is your highest placing in BSL ever. What was it that got you so much further this season than any other season before?
Yeah, I mean, I think to be honest, I thought my groups were pretty favorable. I think that in general, any of these leagues, like, when you look at results, I think what the fans need to realize is that there's a lot of randomness to the draws. And so I think that my groups were favorable. I think even the round of 8 bracket, I mean, SPX is a really great player, but if I hit Bonyth or Eon or Treetouch in the first round, then I'd be dead. So it's just a function of that, and I think I was able to prepare a lot more, at least in the earlier stages of the tournament. So yeah, I just did that.
Okay, well, congratulations there. Jaeyun, you have any questions for our 3rd and 4th place players?
I guess the only questions I got is like in the first game, Bonyth sent out his first few zealots, and one of them got instantly picked off. Yet he continued to move forward. And then in the second game, you also got your first 3 zealots picked off, and you continued to move forward. Like, what makes you so confident when you even have like a small, tiny engagement that doesn't go favorably for you, that it just ends up snowballing for you somehow? It just doesn't make sense to me. Normal Protoss players would turn around.
So yeah, in the first game on Sylphid, I had my first zealot picked up, and I'm okay. This is not going very well. This is not where I want to be in the game number 1. But then I see with that couple of his links pick another direction through this high round, and some of them are taking the bottom part of the walk. So I just go in there and just attack them, and I got the favorable position there, and I won the fight pretty badly.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Like, it's like 20 lings versus 6 zealots, and then all of a sudden it's 0 lings versus like 5 zealots, and they still have half health. So you are consistently 2-gating. Is there somebody you got this 2-gate from? Like, I never see it in pro play. Like, do you think it's going to come back in pro play, or where did you get it from? Because to me, this looks like very old school, like Gur style from 2000 and so.
To be honest, I don't really know. I never copied any builds. I just kind of developed everything on my own, maybe except all the new stuff with Gate Expand and maybe Forge Expand. But all these 2-gate and 1-gate Reaper, I kind of developed it on my own. Back in the day, it was just I was kind of a Danish player who really enjoyed to icon a lot. For example, in PvT, I would just go 1 base Reaper, make the shuttle with a Reaper, make speed, and then on 1 base I would get over 1k mineral back, and I would just enjoy the game with toying with my Terran Prey. So yeah, that's how I got into my 2-gates zone stuff.
Nice. I guess one of the questions I had is that, so 2-gate is very important to take care of each, like, zealot lives matter. So what's your secret? Like, what is it that you do with your zealots that makes them better than everybody else's zealots? Because you keep winning with this aggressive zealot strategy.
Well, I think you just need to stay open-minded, see what Zerg does, and so I think some Protoss is just, okay, I'm 2-gating him, I'm going for the 7 zealot or 9 zealot timing, and I'm going for it no matter what, right? So no, it's not really like that. You see something, for example, in game number 3, Jaeyun made a Sunken, made a lot of Zerglings, so I knew he's gonna make Zerglings, so I just showed him that, okay, I make 2 gateways, I have 3 zealots, I may have more zealots on the way, but no, that was just he doesn't know that I'm in fact going for faster tech this time, and so even though I didn't do any damage with cells, I did damage I guess with the previous 2 games, so making up love.
Yeah, if I could interject there, like just to like maybe I think what makes Bonyth really good in other players just kind of like Bonyth is that he's not, 2-gate is not just like a build, like he said. It's not like a build and you just do it and you hope that it works, right? Like, I think why Bonyth is very talented is because, like, when he moves out with those zealots, like, he's scouting what's going on in micro situations, he's responding to it, right? So it's like, even very small things, and that's what makes a really good player, where he just, he moves in and he's like, oh, okay, he has too many Zerglings, and he moves back, right? And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna poke it again. So he's always scouting and he's always seeing if there's an opening. And it takes a really good player. Even for me, I couldn't really spawn, like, if I make 1 extra Zergling, he's ahead. You know what I mean? So he's forcing these kinds of situations. He's forcing you to make a decision, outside of like following a build order, and that's what kind of instinct and talent is. It's not, he's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna execute this build order and attack at 10 minutes, and he's forcing trades and decisions every second of the game.
Well, obviously you're both incredibly talented players to get top 4 this season. But coming up next, we actually have the grand finals, which is going to be a best of 7 ZVZ. What are each of your thoughts about how that series is going to go, and who do you predict to win? I'll start with you, Jaeyun.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's so hard. ZVZ is a very high variance matchup. I think both Eon and True Touch are, obviously the top 2 ZVZ players, top 2 Zergs really. And I'm just gonna go with Eon. He's my teammate. I think it's gonna go to a 7-game series, but hard to predict it. I don't think it's necessarily favored either way, but I think it's gonna be Eon. He's been playing really well.
What about you, Bonyth?
Well, I think Eon Zerg is more about execution as his units control. He's gonna be a little bit better than True Touch here, but I think True Touch may be just this tiny little bit, better at calling good decisions. So yeah, it's gonna be one or the other. Let's see which is gonna be more important in TV.
I love that. It's going to be one or the other. Oh, nail in the analysis. Thank you so much. Do you have any final words, Nyokin?
No.
Okay.
I think that PVZ was great, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in the next BSL. Hopefully, I hope you play again. Oh, you don't even have to qualify because you're both in the top 4.
Yeah, you guys are both pre-qualified. So that means that all of your fans are guaranteed to see you seeded into BSL Season 8. You guys have any words for your fans before we get on with the grand finals? Jaeyun?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I could make a deep run again next time and not lose to 6 Zealots.
All right, what about you, Bonyth?
Yeah, I'm gonna prepare to not lose against Eon Zerg again. So yeah, I'm gonna even develop my 2-gate even further.
Even more zealots next time. All right, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Jaeyun and Bonyth, for being on here and giving us this awesome insight into that series. Congratulations on your top 4 finishes, and yeah, thanks for the interview. So that's gonna do it for our 3rd and 4th place match. Before we head off to a quick break, and then we'll be right back with the best of 7 grand finals for BSL Season 7 between Eon Zerg and True Touch. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the BSL Season 7 grand finals.
Go True Touch.